Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro, friends. Real quick, before we get started today, a couple of things. So we have the first thing that I want to mention to you, which is tomorrow we have a expert on food safety from Australia. He's one of the leading food safety experts in Australia, and he is coming on the podcast to talk about cupping protocols, food safety, and the coronavirus, specifically for the coffee industry. So that is happening tomorrow. Jump on our mailing list and you will get links to that episode that are going to be airing live at 11:15 Pacific time on Wednesday, the 12th of February. Alternatively, head to our YouTube channel, scroll down the bottom, and you'll see what you can set a reminder for all of our episodes that are coming up for the current week. Don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell while you're there so that you can get access to all the content that we upload. Second thing, shout out to my friend Angelo. I had to interrupt a conversation that we were having via text to do this podcast, and he is a massive supporter of everything that I do. And I just wanted to say a special massive thank you for his friendship and his support, and it's just important to have people like that in your life, so shout out, my friend. The other thing is we are getting ready to announce our workshops for Portland, and I couldn't be more excited for what we are doing. It is mostly women that are running all of the workshops, and 3 workshops, 3 women and 1 man. Not that that should make a difference. What is amazing is I have found the most knowledgeable people about these subjects, and they all happen to be women. So we're going to be announcing that soon. So again, a good reason to get on the mailing list and to watch our website, our events page on our website for upcoming details, mapitforward.org/events, where right now you can actually find the details for our Coffee Fest leadership workshop, leadership and culture. Today on the Daily Coffee Pro, we're continuing episode 2 of 5 on mentorship. And today we're speaking specifically about finding a mentor. We're going to cover a couple of things, more than a couple, but a few things. And specifically, we're going to cover how you identify who your mentor should be, how you find them, how to engage them, and how you should treat them. So we're going to cover these 4 things in today's episode. So let's start with identifying your mentors and who they should be. And later in this series, we're going to be talking specifically about how not all mentors are created equal. And let's talk a wee bit about that right now. So how do you identify who your mentor should be? It's a great first place to start. And you can't answer that question if you don't know what it is you're trying to achieve. So if you remember, we were speaking in our last series about career mapping. And this is particularly important if you are in the early stages of your career. So let's say the first 10 years of your professional career. Understanding where it is you're going is going to help you understand the kind of people who can help you get there. Your mentors are the people that you identify, whether they are relationships you have one-on-one or a virtual relationship where you don't know them. It's like mentorship through osmosis. So identifying who the right mentor is or mentors are for you professionally, and we're only talking about professional mentors in this series, are the things that are important are the idea that you know what it is you want mentoring in. They have walked your path well ahead of you. and they have relationships and a network that they can connect you into that will make your path more fulfilled and easier. Your mentor should make your life easier. I think that the most important role a mentor plays is knowing the right questions to ask you and calling you on your shit when you answer those questions untruthfully. And that happens. That's the way I approach being a mentor, and that's the way that the people that have come before me that were my mentors, the ones that were the best were the ones that could show me how to ask myself the right questions and when to call myself on my bullshit. And some of those mentors have been people who were very active in that process, and others were people who I watched do that. So that's how you identify your mentors. People who have walked the path before you. They have much more experience. And I just want to say that experience needs to include failure. They need to be able to tell you what it feels like to fail. They need to help get you through that a lot quicker than you staying bogged down in it. Okay, so a lot of the time your mentor is there to tell you, no, this is normal. And I probably could have done a better job at having those people in my life a lot earlier than I did. And if I did, I wouldn't have been stuck in a lot of the headspace that I was in. But anyway, I've got good mentors in my life now. So yeah, they should, as we said, they should be experienced. They should have walked the path before you. They should be able to tell you what mistakes you can anticipate and, what to move on from. And they should be able to connect you in with a community. The next thing is, how do you find them? All right, so let's assume it's a mentor that you would like to engage for a formal mentor-mentee relationship. And you should absolutely formalize that relationship if you're going to have an official, you're going to approach somebody about it. So one of the mentors in my life is Mark Dundon. I selected Mark as someone who was a potential mentor because Mark is an innovator and didn't do anything the way that everybody else was doing it. And that's the way that I approach things. So he ticks the box there in that he walked a path before me that was very different from his peers and his colleagues. And he has the standards of integrity that I set for myself, and he's a trailblazer. The most important thing about Mark for me in making that decision that I wanted to approach him about being a mentor is he holds himself accountable to his word and he's authentic about that. But I didn't have a close relationship with Mark when I wanted to approach him about becoming a mentor. And it just so happened I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and I said, I'm looking for a mentor. I had been thinking about it, and he had said to me, I think you should consider Mark Dundon. And it was great. I didn't really have a connection or a formal relationship with Mark. I definitely knew of him. He's a rock star. And it just so happened that I had just moved to the US. I was at SCAA at the time. This was about 3 or 4 years ago. And he happened to be there he was living in LA at the time. We were in Seattle or Atlanta, one of the two. And I just happened to see him at a party that night. And I said, well, this is really weird. I was talking to somebody about you earlier today. and I really want to chat with you when we can about some stuff. Can we set up a time? Well, of course, we didn't get to set up that time for over a year, which was interesting. But when we did, I took that time to build my relationship with him, confirm that I did want Mark to be a mentor. And then when I was sure that Mark could do what I was looking at from him, and also what I could do to respect that relationship, that was really important to me. This couldn't be a one-sided thing. Then I formally reached out to Mark and said, hey, listen, I was wondering if you'd consider doing me the honor by being a mentor for me. And in true Mark Dundon style, he couldn't understand why I would want to have him as a mentor. He's super, super humble. But I sent an email to him and I formalized the request by saying that. And then he accepted, and then he asked me, like, let's get on a call. Let's talk about what you need help with. And we did. And the way it works now, and it's different with every mentor relationship, and this is the part where we talk about, I've engaged him at that point. That's how. So you find them, you engage them. We just covered engaging there. And then when you engage the mentor-mentee relationship, the important thing is to set out what the relationship will look like. So how often will you talk? Will it be on an as-needed basis? Is it going to be something that you formalize as like a free coaching thing? What is the expectation? What do you need their help with? If you don't go about setting some, even if they're very loose, kind of understanding or ground rules or anything like that, you run the risk of overstepping what the boundary is. I had a kid approach me about becoming a mentor for him. I'd never met him before. And he had attended one of the workshops and had agreed to give a free mentoring session to everybody who signed up for this particular workshop last year. And this kid approached me and said, I want you to be my forever mentor. And it didn't feel like the right thing for me. And he felt very uncomfortable with the fact, he got aggressive, verbally aggressive with the fact that I had said that this wasn't the right thing for me. And the reason I didn't think it was the right thing for me, because he was expecting that we would meet every week and that it would be my job to tell him what to do. And that's not the role that I want to play in anybody's life as a formal mentor. Your mentor shouldn't be telling you what to do. Your mentor is there to give you guidance. And so, for example, in my relationship with Mark, when I have challenges, there was a situation last year where I was approached by a very rich person overseas to do a big deal for Elixir, and it fell through. And it fell through due to some fuckery that I couldn't foresee. Now, the role of Mark in that situation, and he is always available to me, but I should have engaged Mark before that. I didn't, because I thought I didn't want to bother him, but I did engage him afterwards. And he said to me, you got to be careful. This is what tends to happen. He has walked that path before. He understands what's required in that situation and how you can protect yourself. And so it was helpful for me in that moment to have a mentor there that could help me get unstuck from feeling like a failure because of some trickery that had been kind of the trickery wand that had been waved over me during a particular business deal. But having somebody that had walked that path before me was really great. Just to pick up the phone, speak to him for 15 minutes and say, I just feel like an idiot. I don't know why I did this or why I didn't see it coming. I knew why I did it, but how I couldn't see it coming. And 15 minutes it was done, as opposed to months and months and months of stewing on this particular subject. How you should treat your mentors. That's the fourth. We've covered how to identify them, how to find them, how to engage them, and now how do you treat them? With the utmost respect. You will outgrow some of your mentors. You will be in awe of some of your mentors. You know, a couple of people who I don't have a formal mentoring relationship, but I'm in awe of. I'm in awe of them because of the fact that they work so fucking hard at what they do. And that's important to me. I'm not in awe of people who are famous. I'm not in awe of people because they're famous. You may be, and that's your jam, and that's fine. But the way you treat somebody should absolutely mark the respect that you show them for the skills that they bring to what they've done. And one way to do that is, or a few ways to do that, always be respectful of their time. Don't take more than they have afforded you the luxury of having. A mentoring relationship is a free, very generous relationship that someone enters into to spend time that they could be cultivating with themselves or with their family, but they've chosen to spend it with you. So be mindful, don't be greedy, always be respectful of their time, be purposeful. So be sure that the time that you're spending with somebody and when you're engaging them is legitimate. Don't just call someone that's your mentor for the fuck of it. And don't not call them if it's necessary. I have fallen into that trap of, I don't want to bother them, but I should have engaged them, like in that situation with Mark. And someone else I see that's like a mentor figure to me, although it's not, we haven't formally established it, is Kira Kennedy from Baratza, the CEO of Baratza. Kira is an extraordinary human and leader, and she is a trailblazer. Baratza has been around for 20 years, turning 21 years this year, and she's an incredibly intentional leader. Somebody who I'm proud to have as a potential, like someone who we will engage as one of the consultants through Map It Forward. So when people come to us and say that they need a coach, Kira is one of the people that we put forward for that. And she is just an extraordinary leader and somebody that I hope to model myself after in different aspects. But the great thing about that, like I treat her with respect. I have a lot of, I can't explain enough or can't express enough how important it is to find the right mentor so that it is worth you giving your time to in your career development. Now, why I say that? If you engage a mentor because they're famous rather than because of the skills that they have, you will find very quickly that that relationship will run dry, because people who are famous for no reason really only attach themselves to people who can make them more famous. And that to me is a recipe for a mentoring relationship gone bad very, very quickly. You will feel isolated, you will feel rejected, you will feel abandoned, you will feel unsupported by somebody like that. And in that kind of a situation, the way that you need to treat them is that you need to idolize them rather than be in awe of them. Being in awe of someone is very different. So that's what I've got to say on finding a mentor. I think it is a very valuable learnt skill. And I think that it is one of those things that you get better at as you move through your career. I definitely have, and a lot of the people that I speak to about this subject definitely have. So I hope you found this helpful. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day. And we'll speak to you on the podcast tomorrow when we're talking about the coronavirus with Gary Kennedy. We hope you'll join us then. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends.